Hi, I'm Randy from Truck Bed Treasures. For 40 years, Cheryl and I have been digging through basements, attics, hoarder houses, barns, anywhere where we could find and unearth treasures and put them back in the hands of the people that really appreciate what they are. So, if you're watching this video, please watch it to the end and subscribe. We go on a lot of adventures and misadventures, and we're inviting you to come with us on every one. Thanks. Enjoy the video. Hi, welcome to Truck Bed Treasures, and again, my truck is still in the body shop, so I'm using the back of Cheryl's SUV. So unfortunately, we're kind of doing SUV treasures. Today we're emptying out another tote from the Hoarder House that we emptied out about 2.5, 3 years ago, and we've been slowly bringing the totes out and getting this stuff out to people who will appreciate it. So let's get right after this one, and cover is off. The first thing is a really beautiful pink satin vase. Wow, a clear glass handle. It's that satin finish. It's very, very popular. I'll set this over there. And we have what looks like it could be a carnival prize, doesn't it? Like back in the 60s, if you popped a few balloons, they would give you a little lantern. And this is a cowboy lantern, the backside saloon swinging doors. No marking on the bottom, but it's got to be Japan, right? Wow. It's kind of a cool little item. Imagine that in some little boy's or little girl's room. Wow, this is a, oh my God, this is kind of interesting. This is a toy. I assume that it would have a drum attached to it. How would you like to give something like that to your child? It winds up. My gosh. That's kind of an interesting toy. Have to be Japan. And I'll see if it winds up. No, it winds up, but it just springs, so the spring is in it is kind of bad. I don't know if I'd give my kid that toy. What do you think? Let me know in the comments section. You know, chickens and roosters have always been popular. This would have been sitting on somebody's sewing machine or next to where they sew. And it's a rooster. Pincushion. With no damage to it, except a little bit of dust. And I don't know what that is in front. Oh, it's a tape measure. It actually has a tape measure you pull out. Wow. That is pretty cool. That's really cool, actually. You know, as a product designer in real life, I look at things like that, and I'm kind of totally impressed and blown away by it. Here is an old gardening tool, flower bed tool. How old is that? Wow. Wow. That would definitely dig down into the dirt. Probably better than the ones they sell today. It's got flattened ends, kind of a spring cushion type thing going on there, and a nice long handle. That's an interesting piece right there. Kind of like that. I'll put it right next to my bottle of water. Here's another satin vase. And it is a match to the other one. So, trying to find, if I was in my truck bed, I wouldn't be having these issues. Yeah. They kind of sit next to each other, maybe on a fireplace mantle. Or some kind of a buffet. I know that satin is really, really popular. Those are nice pieces, and it doesn't look like there's damage to either one of them. You know, it's got the gilding on it, the bluebirds. Yeah, those are nice pieces, very nice pieces. What do we have here? we have a little drum. And that little drum must go on that guy like that. Now if it worked, we could have some music while I'm doing this, some background music. A drum roll please, right? So a big vase, big pitcher, kind of a nice collectible blue. You know, ice water with ice cubes in the summer coming out of that. That's nice old school right there. It's a pretty nice piece. Here is a large musical jewelry box that it's hard to open with. Oh wow, the ballerina works. Kind of. She's probably tired from being locked in that box all this time. Wow. Can you imagine that on some little girl's dresser? Got a little bit of damage right there, but I'm sure somebody with some craft experience and some talent could repair that. It looks like there's a lot of kids items in this tote. Oh, here's an old Fisher-Price toy. Wow, the clock moves when the music plays. And you know what? It was really dumb that I did that, because now we're going to have that background music this whole time. So I'll put it in back and hope you don't hear that. I'm sure Cheryl's going to say, "God, I hear music playing." So time's flying, as you can see on the clock. That hand's just moving. So here's a little box with some adorable little shoes in it. Wow, those are tiny. There's a pair of them. Aren't those cute? These are just really cool. I love things like that. I mean, just pieces from the past. And time stopped. I'll put the shoe back by the clock. It's another shoe box. Oh my gosh, look how old those are. Look how old those are. Can you imagine some little boy or some little girl in their pajamas or their nightgown running through the house on Christmas Eve with wide eyes? Wow, those are awesome. That's a step back in time right there, isn't it? That's a step way back in time. I love this. Love doing it. This is an old trivet that would have been used when you heat an iron up over a fireplace or on top of a hot wood stove. And you would iron your clothes, and you would set the hot iron, which here's an iron. So what you would do is actually release that onto a fire or a hot plate or a wood stove, and when it got hot, you would walk up with this and lock it in place. Then you would iron your clothes while the iron was still hot, and then when you had to move on to another item, you would set it on this so you wouldn't burn your cupboard or whatever you were ironing on. You know, they had it rough back then, but they were good times, right? Here's another toy. Looks like drumming is the thing of the day. It looks like it wants to play the music. So we actually have a drum theme going on here with the cat and the bear. It's kind of a band starting here. It's a beautiful green vase, not pitcher, but vase. Really heavy. It's got a badge on it. I really can't read it. It's almost like it's Viking, because it's just beautiful glass with nice cuts, and it's heavy. I think that could be Viking glass. Now I've had 3 of these that came out of that hoarder house. This is the 3rd one. I don't know if they all looked alike, but they're creamers that would have been used, I would think, in restaurants like Country Kitchen back in the day, and then they would have sold them to people who wanted to have that at home, to have that Country Kitchen experience at your own dining room table. So I have my favorite number here, an old billiards ball, number 13. Wow, this has seen its better days, but actually if you repurpose, its better days are ahead of them. You know, you can use this as a planter, and there's the drainage for the water right there so it doesn't fill up with water. But look at the patina on that. Wow, I'll set it down. That is just nice right there. You know, the top comes off, so you can actually have the top just leaned up against it and have a plant come out of the top of that. You know, fill it up with dirt, some little rocks, some dirt, and then put a plant in there. That's blue enamelware. You know, it's old. When you come across this blue enamelware, it's kind of a treat. I'll reach back there, and that's where she's going to sit. Again, it's been sitting in storage for 2 to 3 years, 2.5 years. And red used to be very popular for enamelware, and it's not so much anymore. It'd be nice if I came back because, excuse me, there's a lot of it floating around. I don't know why they ever got away from it. It's nice. Here's an old teapot. It looks clean. I mean, it looks dusty, but I would say that's silver over copper, which is a nice combination. It's definitely marked on the bottom, but it's like silver plate over copper. It's attractive. You know, it's a nice size. It's elegant. The lines are nice. The spout is nice. It's well designed. What do we have here? We have a lizard or an alligator. Probably a crocodile. Crocodiles are smaller. I don't know why it would have this spike coming out of its back. That puppy is old. Wow, is that old. Looks like there's a hole in the nose. So it had to have been pulled around by a string, but I don't know for what reason because the legs don't move. We'll put that over by the industrial things, by my water. It's an old cigar box. Muriel, 4-cent cigars. Wow. How long has it been since they've had 4-cent cigars? It's a nice little box. Kind of a wood grain. I think that would wipe down and clean up. It's kind of a nice little piece. I'll tuck it away right here in front of everything else since we have some other things here. Wow. So I used to go roller skating a lot when I was young, you know, and never saw roller skates like this. Look at those wheels on there. I've seen a lot of metal roller skates or steel roller skates. I have never seen them with wheels on like this. So I'm wondering, you have the skates, you have the old toy, not so much the Fisher-Price, but the really old toy, and this old Japan tin toy. I wonder if there's some kind of a theme that's going on in this tote. You know, I must have got this out of a closet or something that would have had a mixture of things in, because when I pack, I don't sort and combine all glass and everything. I just grab things that are in the area and put them in, because again, I'm so limited to time. I must have thought this was special because I wrapped it up. Ooh, I remember these. Put that back there. Revolution by the Beatles. Hey Jude by the Beatles. Something by the Beatles. Matchbox or Slow Down by the Beatles. Wow. Monkeys, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. Mickey Dolenz, I'm a Believer. Davy Jones, right? No, Mickey. Nah, I forget. Lady Madonna by the Beatles. Mickey Dolenz. That's what I was trying to think of. Yes, it is by the Beatles. I'm Down by the Beatles. And Help. I Don't Want to Spoil Your Party. And 8 Days a Week. The Monkees, Going Down, and Daydream Believer. You know, one of their biggest hits, right? Daydream Believer. Oh, this is Get Back on Capitol. And Don't Let Me Down on Capitol. I saw her standing there. Ringo Starr. Hey Jude. Revolution. And a 45 with a Plastic Ono band, which would have been John and Yoko Ono's band. Wow, old Beatles. Old Beatles is pretty cool. It's pretty nice to see that. A couple more things here.
Morning, Randy.
It's an old doll. Girl Scout it must be, since it's a girl. Kind of an interesting piece. I didn't know Girl Scouts were the one piece. It's kind of an interesting piece. It's old, definitely old. My neighbor just came home and said hi to me. And we just have, keeping, I guess, to the scouting theme, we have this big official Girl Scout mess kit that looks like it's got a whole bunch of treasures in it. Wow, a lot of treasures. It's got Girl Scout and Cub Scout. Girl Scout and Cub Scout. Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts of America. Here comes the crows. Like I said, ever since I turned 66, the crows are hanging around my house. There's no utensil set. As long as they don't come down here too close, right? And bother me when I'm doing this. That's Girl Scouts of America. Old silverware set. They would have went to camp. What else is in here? Wow, there's a lot of badges. Looks like there's a Girl Scout knife in there. See if I can open it with one hand. Boy, those crows. I'm telling you, they're loud, but you know, I kind of like them. I feed them in the winter because it gets cold up here. Girl Scout knife. Oh wow, it's in there, and it looks brand new. That's a nice piece right there. It's a really nice piece. Otherwise, it looks like, you know, the kerchief slide that you would have up. Must be another silverware set, which it is. Wow, there's a lot of cool things in this container. See if I can get this out of here. There's a Girl Scout canteen. Yeah. Wow. Doesn't look like it was ever used. I put that over there. It's a Girl Scout belt. And hard to do this with one hand. Believe me, it's very hard. I'll zip it out all the way. Throw that over there. Yeah, that's what it is, all right. It's a mess kit. Again, so everything in here, that's what you would find there. All compact, ready for some girl to go to camp and start a summer of fun, right? Wow, so it's a pretty good tote. The Beetle records are awesome. You know, the Girl Scout and Boy Scout items are memories. You know, the roller skates, my favorite number 13, the Wicked Cat drummer, you know, the satin pieces, the blue enamel, the little shoes and moccasins. Come on, those are great. There's one more thing that I brought from the storage unit because it made me think of something, and that is a military ammo box. And the reason I brought it is we have a video that we put on our channel about, I don't know, maybe a month ago. We've only been doing this 2 months, but you should check it out because what I found in that ammo box in that house was pretty disturbing, and I did a video on it, and it's not getting a lot of love, and it's pretty interesting. You might want to go back into our videos and check that one out. Otherwise, I really appreciate you hanging out with us and checking out another Hoarder House box in the back of Cheryl's SUV. Hopefully next time I shoot a video, I'll be on the back of my truck, and I really appreciate you spending maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes with me. Subscribe to our channel, like, and remember, everything here is for sale. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.